Right now, I feel like the rabbit. Hello, goodbye. I'm late. We got to get this cabinet primed, and we're out of time. And I should not be priming at this time of night because it's getting into that damp, cool time of night. And I just feel obligated because the morning dew will make this rust. So if you don't know what's going on, we have this vintage metal sink cabinet and a sink. And we are restoring it so that we can put it in our kitchen. So far, I buffed off, sanded down all the rust to the best of my ability. It's not perfect, but we got it as good as we could. So just for tonight, to protect this raw metal that's on this cabinet, I'm going to be throwing some rust reformer, and this is going to help convert remaining rust into a paintable surface. And then also maybe some of the not so rusty parts, I'll do some regular Rust-Oleum primer. But basically I got to cover all the raw metal before it gets too late. Slight delay. There's some dampness on here. We washed it down with a special cleaner made for prepping for paint. So it strips down all the oils and greases and everything. Problem is, that means it's wet and we need it dry.
This is what we used.
I'm guessing the inside is probably like that too, because that's the last, not this side, I mean, this is the last part I did was down here. There's definitely some water in there. First. I think we're going to do this whole bottom, which I hope is dry. Well, I think that was a success because we don't have any extra new rust from the dew. It's actually been a couple days since we painted this and it's looking really good. You could see right down here, I don't know if you could see it, but this is where the metal was the worst. It was really rusty, and so it's pitted. We're going to be fixing that, but before I do, I want to reinforce this because this side was dented in when we got it, and it's a little bit loose, and I just want to strengthen it. So what we're going to do is try to install a piece of wood right here behind here. We're going to screw it through the metal and try to just give this strength to stiffen up the sidewall. I figure it's better to experiment with this before filling all this pitted metal than after, because then if I mess this up and put holes in here needlessly, I can just cover them over with some body filler. Well guys, it worked. It took me a little while to get the holes just the right size and help pinch in that metal, but I have it screwed in. It's a lot more rigid than it was, and the screws are flush. That means when I do my body filler, to fill in all these rough spots down here, we can cover right over those screws and you shouldn't see them when this is done. I just feel better about this because this was the most rusted spot in the sink really, and it was weakened, but now pretty good. I'm mixing up the Bondo. We're using Bondo body filler. It's not ideal. I'm trying to get away from these toxic chemical type products, but I actually had this in the workshop already and I just feel like it'll give me a quick working time. I can just get it done. All right guys, that looks good. Epoxy and hardener, we're gonna mix that together thoroughly. They say to sand it down to the bare metal, but we're not doing that for a couple of reasons. Oop. One of them being that I want the rust protection against the sink. The primer has rust protection in it. This does not. I really gotta work quick now.
Yep.
Depends on how picky you want to be, I guess.
Or will the primer and paint just be good enough?
It didn't need any of this. Heck. But there's a pit right here where I sunk this screw in,
Yeah.
where the Bondo's a little bit thin. Guys, I'm being a little more perfect than I need to be on this. Most of this cabinet is going to be hidden the way our kitchen layout is. But I'm going to put this glazing and spot putty on here just to fill up any pinhole cracks. And even though I could paint this and you guys would think it would look beautiful, it would look fine, this gives me a chance to get some more practice in with my body work and just feel better that I did the best job I could. And well, here it is, guys. We are ready to start painting. First, we're going to do a little more priming, and then we're going to roll right into paint. And this cabinet should be done today, minus the drawers and doors.
What's that thing under your eye?
Where?
It's huge. What is it?
I don't know, just a bump. That makes me feel better, more confident. Thank you.
I shouldn't have said anything. Looks good.
It's not great, but...
It's good enough.
Well guys, it's done, and it looks awesome. We went through 4 cans of spray paint and got the cabinet covered pretty well. It's not perfect. If you're up close, you can see some imperfections, but I was afraid of having the paint run, so I was afraid of putting it on too heavy. And when you're doing a gloss finish, you really want to put the paint on heavy enough that you wet the whole surface, but you don't want it running. There's a fine line there. I did my best, and like I said, it looks good. Really, the important part of this cabinet is going to be the door fronts and the drawer fronts, because that's what's going to make it really look nice. You barely see inside the cabinet. You're not even going to see the ends and the kitchen. So, considering all that, I'm happy. A couple of small bugs landed in the finish. I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to leave them alone. Don't touch your finish. If something lands in it, let it land in it. Don't touch it. You'll just make it worse. Wait until it dries. Check it out. Down here. Wow, I can't even see it. It's impressive. It's so smooth. It honestly looks really good.
Yeah, nobody would ever know.
Over here, there's some pitting that I did not body fill. It's going to be behind the cabinet, and you can clearly see that. I'm glad I touched this area up. We got inside. Do you guys remember how rusty this area was? I mean, it was toasted. It was just bad. And it's beautiful right now. And we didn't do any body filler in here. We just sanded it down and painted it. There's some very light pitting through here. You can barely see it. And might as well show you guys this end. Okay. The original toe kick on this was black. I don't know if we're going to leave it white or if we're going to paint it over later on. I think we're going to leave it white for now. I know that a white toe kick could get dirty with your feet hitting it, but we don't wear shoes in the house and it's not something I'm worried about right now. So that's going to stay white for the time being. All we have to do now is bring this inside and let it cure. We're not going to attach any hardware. We're not going to do anything to it until the paint cures, and that could take over a week, really. So I just want to put it in there and let it sit for that paint to really harden on. The next step is going to be pulling out all the drawers and doors, and now we can work on those. Now that the big thing's out of the way, we can focus our attention on those. And those should be super easy because there's no major rust on them.
Yeah.
It's really going to be just a light sanding, a cleanup, and a paint.
That would be nice.
We'll work on those another day. It's getting too late in the evening to even think about starting that. We were going to bring it in the house, but I think we're going to leave it out. The paint is still too soft. We're going to end up messing it up.
Yeah.
So it should be fine. It's fully painted and it's not going to rain. There's going to be some evening dew, some morning dew, but it should be perfectly fine to leave it out here overnight. That's what we'll do. Since I'm not going to be able to get to it, I'll just show you what I was going to do. We got these felt strips and we're going to stick this to the bottom of the sink all the way around the entire sink. The bottom of the sink is metal, obviously. Our kitchen has a hardwood floor. And this is going to protect our hardwood floor and keep the sink more quiet and more even on the boards. Because this will kind of conform a little bit to any imperfections. While we're working with getting the sink hooked up and put in, we don't have to be dragging a metal sink on our floor with, let's face it, even though we fixed it up, the bottom of it is still pretty rough.
And the unit is heavy.
So we will be felting the feet before we bring it in the house. And I was literally going to do that tonight, but I don't think we're going to mess with it.
It's still too soft.
Every time I rush these projects, I leave fingerprints or I mess up the paint and then I regret it and I say, why am I rushing? I'm rushing because I want to share it with you guys. It gets exciting, you say, let's get it done. But we're going to slow down and just do what we can do.
Yep.
Now before we go, this is totally unrelated to the sink, but I just wanted to share something cool. We found a really cool bag to hang the clothespins in. You want to show the bag?
Yep.
You guys know this is our laundry lounge. This is our gazebo clothesline, protects our clothes from the weather, from the sun, and we could dry outside, and we just love it.
Yep.
But one problem we had was our clothespins were in a bowl, and that means they were kind of exposed to the weather.
Exposed to bugs and frogs and
We have a lot of tree frogs, and you didn't want tree frogs pooping in the pins.
no, I didn't.
So there was a requirement of we need a clothespin bag that can seal up. You guys, there was a lot of good suggestions about clothespin bags, but they were all the type that were open. And we can't have an open bag around here.
So I was looking online and I found this cool little, looks like a mini duffel bag. And it's got a zipper on it and it's like a mesh. So nothing like a frog will be able to get in here.
Yep, go close up. You can show that.
And it has a clip here. And you're actually supposed to take this and put it around your waist. So you put it around your waist, you clip it on, and then you just open it up, and then, you take your clothespin out and use it. And then we put a handy dandy hook up here. Done. And I didn't know.
Wait, can I just say something?
Yeah.
I know that looked like it was really high to reach, but that's because we're on the outside of the clothesline. Inside there, the hook is a lot easier.
I will demonstrate.
See, I don't want you guys to think she's struggling. We got this perfect.
People always think I can't reach these, but look how easy.
And she specifically had me put this hook on right here so that the bag wouldn't be touching the wood
Yeah,
And
I was
it-
very picky about that.
and it would be airing out and everything. So it is 100% perfect. And that's actually really convenient because now when you're hanging clothes, you don't have to walk back and forth to the bag.
Yeah.
You just keep
And
going.
I don't have to be like, oh, I need 3 clothespins for this or 1 clothespin for that. I can just grab when I need them.
Yeah, so that's fun. Glad we found it. And one more thing to help complete our laundry lounge.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share that because I know so many of you gave good suggestions about hanging a clothespin bag up here. So
Yep.
wanted to make sure we did that. So guys, I guess that's all we have for tonight. Thanks for watching. And until next time, take care.
See ya.